Oregon. I gave them a script 3 weeks ago, and I said, you're these people. They were kind of voluntold. We started this play in October. We were supposed to do it in November, it got canceled. We were supposed to do it in December, it got canceled. We were supposed to do it in January, and it got canceled. And between that time period, I lost 4 major parts. Hence why I have to play one of the parts. Keelan and Macy are playing a part. And Mrs. Doolin, Grace Doolin, she got her script on Saturday, and she is also playing a part for us. So with that being said, I want to thank these kids. And I wrote them a letter, and I don't think they've read it, so I hope they're listening to me. When you start working on something in October, and you meet deadlines, and you are asked to memorize lines, and it goes on and on and on and on, you forget those lines. You forget what you're supposed to do. These kids, like I said, have been working on this since October. And I am so incredibly grateful and thankful to all of you kids. You have persevered and worked so incredibly hard, keeping a great attitude, being positive, being flexible, and holding on to the hope that the show must go on. Your resilience has not gone unnoticed, as you have played many different roles. You have adapted as line after line has been changed. You have met memorization deadlines only to have the show be put on hold time and time again. You have helped new cast members learn lines and blocking and given them the confidence to perform at a second's notice. And to those of you who have stepped in to help out, we could not have done this show without you. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you, and I love you. In the play, I am supposed to be Mr. Starkweather. We changed it to Mrs. Starkweather. So there could be some pronouns like his and her and him and she, and we might mix those up a little bit, so just bear with us if you will. Let's see, what else do I have to say? Some of these kids haven't been on stage ever. Tonight's going to be the first time they've ever been on stage. Some of them haven't been on stage in over a year. And some of us, like me, haven't been on stage in 30 years or more. So with all that being said, thank you so much for coming, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Done got all the cars parked like you told me.
As I told you, life is my breath. You're dripping water all over the when Miss Simone arrives, I shall summon you to prepare his bar for her.
Oh, good. And while I'm waiting, I'll just sit by the stove and grow some gills.
Don't be impertinent.
How can I be if I don't know what that means?
Just do as you're told. Go to the kitchen and wait there until I call. Ah, that way, have you forgotten already? I told you to go round to the back door.
Sorry, I forgot.
That man is an idiot.
I heard that.
Where do you want me to put this one, Minerva?
On the coffee table and be careful with this.
I think everything's ready.
You think wrong. Put the cup on the saucer so all I have to do is pour the coffee.
The others are coming down. Miss Van Zandt has informed me that Miss Starkweather was just the staff of your present as well.
She wants the servants here.
Precisely. Even Rufus. If I had been informed of this sooner, I would have ordered her to take a bath and on the rains. Perhaps that will help.
If you ask me, Noah's blood would help.
Be that as it may, I shall go for him and Miss Strange.
Minerva, why would Miss Starkweather want to serve us here?
I'll pull my crystal ball and let you know. Remember what I told you when you first came to work here?
Yes, ma'am. Do as you're told and don't ask questions?
Exactly, just stick to that.
I will.
Oh dear, I never know what to wear on special occasions. I suppose Aunt Simone inviting us here is a special occasion, isn't it, Jordan?
Oh, I suppose so, when you consider most of the time he treats us like we're lepers.
You think Aunt Simone treats us like jumbo cats?
Not lepers, Mother, lepers. And don't worry, you look fine.
Thank you, son.
I'll tell you one thing. If we're to inherit this mausoleum, we should call it the Adams family and let them know it's on the market.
Counting chickens, are we?
Oh, Minerva, I didn't see you there, and you're attractive young helper.
Nancy is a nice girl, and I need her to stay that way.
I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
I doubt that.
I don't understand.
I believe that. Miss Fiona, why don't you come have a seat and answer me a cup of coffee?
Coffee, that sounds nice. It's a little damp in here.
That's because it's a lot damp out there. How do you take it?
Mother prefers yours black. I like mine sweet. I'll flavor it myself.
Whatever.
Ooh, what lovely herbs. These are delicious. Glad you like them.
You're looking very pretty tonight, Nancy.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, that makes me feel as old as Great Aunt Simone. Please, call me Jordan.
She'll call you Mr. Starkwood, the way a proper maid should. If anybody here to call you a different name, it'll be me. And you don't want to know what's around.
Oh, Minerva, you never change.
Neither do you. More the pity. Or just stay next to your mother.
Yes, Drill Sergeant?
Well, my goodness, Kathy. I don't know how y'all can stand to live out here in the boonies, away from the fine restaurants and shopping centers. Why I get so depressed, I would just sit down and weep.
Oh, well, it's not that bad. I stay here during the week, and then I go to my apartment in the city on those weekends.
Oh, well, I'm so relieved to hear that.
Well, I worked for a large corporation before Miss Starkweather hired me to be a personal secretary, and believe me, Paula, this position is much nicer.
What we have here, 2 residents of Sunshine, Stella Bloom. You look very pretty tonight, ladies.
Oh, well, Cousin George, you are a rogue and a charmer.
I do my best. Won't you join us?
Have a seat over there. You'll be safe. Yes, we can bring you a cup of coffee.
Thank you, Minerva. I'll take my class.
Well, mine down with lots of cream and sugar. I must admit I have an enormous sweet tooth.
Maybe that's what causes one such accent.
And how are you, Fiona?
Oh, what? I'm doing very well, but thank you, Paula.
Well, I don't know why we don't see more of one another. It seems like the only time we see each other is for somebody's funeral.
Want all funerals for somebody?
Oh, you're just awful. I'm glad that this weekend is an exception to that rule for once no one is dead.
So far, anyways.
Oh,
Oh, don't worry, honey, you didn't spill any.
Jordan, what do you mean by that comment?
Oh, it's nothing. It's just when you called to tell Mother and I that we needed to come to the mansion for the weekend, we assumed you were going to tell us that Great Aunt Simone had passed on.
You wish.
I mean, I even started to pack my new black dress.
It was a natural assumption. She's up in years and in bad health, but of course I'm still relieved to hear that she's still with us.
Uh-huh. Well, I don't presume that you know why we were invited to Starkweather Mansion. Come on, tell us.
Well, Miss Van Zandt will go into the particulars, but I believe Mrs. Starkweather
Mrs. Starkweather, her son, Jordan, right?
That's right, Mr.
Davis, I'll be mine.
From what Miss Van Zandt just said, I assume you're some sort of investigator?
You got it, pal. Private eye.
I see.
Who is this next commander?
The detective, Mother.
A detective? How exciting. Do you know Jessica Fletcher?
No, ma'am. I'm afraid she's out of my league. I do know who you two ladies must be, though.
Well, if you're a private investigator, I'm surprised you did.
That access up, then unless you call a counsel.
And you are 100% correct. I must admit, I am completely sad. Did you hear any deep stuff living in Central America?
That leads you to Captain Paul. It's nice to finally meet you in person.
No, me too, Mike. Mike and I have corresponded over the phone for some time by mail and fax. Of course, on Mrs. Starkweather's behalf.
Is this seat taken? No? I'll park here then.
Inspector Janine, unobtrusive.
I sure will, as long as I find a dictionary to look it up.
Those in my fire, keep quiet.
Oh, I'd be glad to. My backside's a little soggy.
Keep an eye on him.
I shall do my best.
Calls in readiness, Miss Van Zandt. I shall go inform Miss Starkweather.
Yes, thank you, Bensonhurst.
There's coffee if anybody else wants some.
I could use some in her mouth.
How do you take care?
In a cup.
Black, please.
Keep still.
Miss Van Zandt, I understand you're here to tell us about some sort of new will.
That is correct. Frankly, I did not think it was a good idea. Mrs. Starkweather's health is precarious at best, and she doesn't need the excitement. I advised her to communicate with you all by mail, but she insisted on summoning you to Starkweather Mansion. I only hope she doesn't live to regret that decision.
Miss Withers is bringing in Miss Starkweather to join us.
Here you are, Miss Starkweather. Go, go, go. I'll be right over here if you need me. To think, I was once surrounded by presidents and kings. Can my world have shrunk to this? A handful of relatives and a measly hired hands of help. Simone, where is my granddaughter? Where is she? We presume she's gone away, but she's not there yet. We cannot wait for her any longer. There's not enough time.
You look well, Great Aunt Simone.
Are you blind? Or just a habitual liar?
I was only making pleasantries, Aunt.
Save your breath. You've always been a smooth talker, Jordan, but that doesn't cut the ice with me anymore. You're nothing but a greedy opportunist. I ought to know. I was one when I was your age.
I guess it runs in the family.
You have a point. Well, Fiona, you look the same.
I do? Why, thank you, Aunt Simone.
It wasn't necessarily meant to be a compliment.
You're just awful, Aunt Simone.
At my age and with my money, I can say whatever I want or think, and I do. And how is my little Georgia Peach this evening?
Oh, well, me? I'm just peachy and I mean, work. Would you care for some coffee, Miss Starkweather?
She doesn't have any. The caffeine could make her blood pressure run a little high.
Apparently, Minerva, I won't be having any coffee. You heard my keeper.
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone aspires to live a ripe old age, and for what? To be kept alive by medicines and machines, to be prevented from enjoying one of life's little pleasures like a cup of coffee.
Don't get too excited, Miss Starkweather.
You see, I'm not even allowed to get excited or feel any emotions.
That's a bummer.
Succinctly put, Rufus, old age is a bummer. I could have searched my vocabulary extensively and never would have come up with quite the word. Bummer.
I'm glad you like it.
According to my doctors, I don't have to remain a prisoner in this weak old body any longer. There's only one thing I hate to leave behind, and that is my money.
Well, you know what they say, Aunt. You can't take it with you.
Yes, that's what they say. So several years ago, I had Lois over here draw up a will for me. I suppose you would like to know how I provided for all of you, my heirs.
Oh, well, I for one am just teasing.
teensy bit? Breathe deeply.
She wasn't done. I didn't.
Should somebody call an
You
ambulance?
can't move like that.
It's okay. She just needs to breathe pure oxygen for a few moments.
Tell them.
Very well. This is the will Mrs. Starkweather was referring to. As we know, she's been a phenomenally successful businesswoman for many years.
I'll say she's been on the cover of Forbes magazine at least a dozen times. I never read it.
She has the distinction of becoming one of the world's first billionaires.
20 years ago, I begged dear Ezra to ask Miss Aunt Simone about his business investments, but he was too proud.
Yeah, Dad had his pride. Lots of pride. Very little money.
If I may continue, Mrs. Starkweather's fortune is now worth in the neighborhood of $50 billion.
If I'd known that, I'd ask for a raise.
I won't go into the details of the will, but it essentially bequeaths $1 million each to her household staff. Mr. Bensonhurst, her butler, Miss Trent, her housekeeper, Minerva Walker, her cook, Miss Withers, her nurse, Nancy Pollard, her maid, and Rufus Jones, her handyman.
Forget the raise.
Mrs. Starkweather, I had no idea.
The will goes on to state that the rest of the money is to be divided equally among her surviving relatives. They are her granddaughter, Simone III, her niece, Fiona Starkweather, and her son, Jordan, who share 1/3, and her great niece, Paula Thompson.
Oh, isn't that nice?
I always knew you'd do right by us.
When Mama married a Southern boy, I know you were upset, but y'all must have agreed on one thing: blood is thicker than water.
I bet Miss Withers could tell you if it isn't.
Now that I've informed you of the will's contents, I have another announcement to make. As of tomorrow, this will becomes invalid.
What does invalid mean?
It means no good.
Oh, in that case, I got a sister that's invalid.
Means you're not gonna get the money, you fool.
Oh, guess I won't be buying that big screen TV I was thinking about.
Everyone sit, Lois, stay put. I found a better use for my money. Oh, I didn't cut you out entirely of the will. Each of you will get $50,000 each.
50,000 out of 50 billion?
Lois advised me it would be a good idea for me to leave you a little something. That way you wouldn't be so apt to contest my new will.
New will?
Yes, that's why I asked Kathy to stay over at Starkweather Mansion this evening, to type it up nice and legal for my signature. Mr. Davis is a disinterested party. He can witness the signing, and then Lois will take it to the courthouse on Monday.
Mr. Davis is a detective. What did you hire him to do?
Mrs. Starkweather hired me to conduct an investigation on the fly. For the past 6 months, I've flown to a dozen or more foreign countries, checking out some of the world's most brilliant scientists. Some well-known, others prefer to keep their experiments hush-hush. I succeeded in finding one in Belgium. Let's call him Dr. X, who agreed to help Mrs. Starkweather do what she desires, which is to clone herself. Clone?
Oh my goodness!
That's insane.
What nonsense! You must be kidding! It's immoral! I don't understand.
Good. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Well, wouldn't kids have learned how to prepare? The ones you said would be sent to specialists?
They were sent to specialists in DNA.
I thought you were trying to find a cure.
I was, but not a cure for my ailments, but a cure for dying, and I found it.
Cloning?
Precisely. Through modern science, I will live forever!
It's not right.
That's neither here nor there. Let the moralists and the politicians debate that question for decades to come. In the meantime, Dr. X, as Mr. Davis has said, will be creating a brand new me. Sit down, Withers, sit down. The lot of you seem very displeased, not, I suspect, because of the moral question, but because of your change in fortune. Too bad. Cloning is very expensive, especially since the process will require a fortune. There will be enough left for the new me to inherit, but no doubt, I will be the first heir to become my own heir.
Well, Great Aunt Simone was going to leave us all a fortune, but she's decided to disinherit us for some clothes.
Yeah, what does clone mean? Cloning means to take some cells from a person's body to create a duplicate of the original.
They can do that? That's great. When Mr. Old Starkweather passes away, maybe I can get a new job working for the new Mrs. Starkweather.
The new Mrs. Starkweather will have to be born and grow up. It goes against the laws of nature. How? It has all been arranged. Once Dr. X has created the new life, the cells will be implanted in a host mother who will carry the child to term.
Host mother? Who?
Me! Why not? Look at me, I'm young, I'm healthy. I would make a great mother for little Simone.
How could you ever consider being part of this travesty?
Well, I can see why she would. Miss Van Zandt and the Cold girl are just gonna get rich off of Miss Starkweather's money. We have to put it on to us and her family. I guess they're ready to get rich too since you're part of this whole scheme.
Not me. I did the job I was paid to do. I'll take my very generous paycheck and go home. Quite frankly, I don't care if the box of science fiction experiment works or not.
You should be ashamed. You should all be ashamed.
I believe you made your feelings quite clear, ladies. If you will join me, I want to speak to you all in the kitchen. We'll clear up your bench. I trust you'll bring with your card anything.
You know, it might be kind of nice hearing the little pitter-patter of the little kidder.
Oh, shut up, Rufus!
Chelsea and I will be tired in my room. You might as well begin typing up the new will tonight. I'll direct you how to put everything in the proper legal terms.
Sure, Lois, the sooner it's finished and signed, the better.
Wait, hold on! How come no one asked me if I wanted to be the host mother? I could do it just as well as she could.
You're Miss Starkweather's blood kin, Paula. It wouldn't be proper.
Crawford? We're about to conduct a science experiment that makes Frank look like an amateur. You're worried about looking proper?
Cool it, kid. Before you burst the blood vessel. Mrs. Starkweather's made up her mind. I get a feeling whatever the old woman wants, she gets.
Succinctly put, Mr. Davis. Happy?
I might as well go downstairs to pack. After I witness the signing of the new will tomorrow, I don't have the energy to sneak around. Good night.
We were robbed.
We were?
Yes. Great Aunt Simone dangled the fortune right in front of our noses and snatched it away.
Yeah, it was mean.
Mean, the old woman's a monster. Can you see the evil glint in her eye? She enjoyed pulling the rug out from underneath our feet. I wish she'd died. I wish she'd dropped dead tonight.
I mean, it would serve her right. If Aunt Simone did die tonight, then we'd all get our money. Wouldn't we, my dear? And what care for a universe?
Any your thoughts?
Mr. Starkweather,
It's Jordan, remember? Having some nerve that a dragon lady isn't around.
I thought everyone had gone to bed.
Oh, I was gonna turn in, but I got an urge for a midnight snack.
I'll fix you something.
Never mind that. What are you doing up?
Miss Trent me down here to make sure that the fire screen is properly in place. So no sparks will pop out of the wagon.
Burn Starkweather Mansion down to the ground. Maybe that wouldn't be such a bad thing.
You shouldn't talk like that. You know Mrs. Starkweather's name, Liz. How she...
You read my mind.
You should even just say it's wicked.
Why should that be right? I've always been the block piece of the family. If it happened tonight, we'd have millions and I'd have billions. Think of the good times we'd have together.
Don't.
It's a tempting thought, admit it.
No, it's not. It's a horrible idea.
Which part? The money? Or you and me?
What about money?
What about us?
Nancy! I thought you're going to help me with the dishes.
I was nervous. Just checking the fridge doors, making sure they're locked.
I see. And what are you doing here?
I came down for a little snack and saw Nancy and had a little chat.
That appetizer is going to get you in trouble one of these days.
Nerva, what were you doing that night?
Mincing onions.
At midnight?
I can't stand to have anybody see me cry, and I thought I'd hurt people in here and came to check. If you're hungry, come with me. I'll find you something.
Yes, Minerva. Anything you say, Minerva?
Finish checking and come give me a hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Rufus, I thought I was going to
It was just me.
Good grief, man. What are you doing with that axe?
Well, it's like this. I remember chopping wood for the fire this afternoon before it started raining, and then I forgot where I put it. So when I figured out where it was, I thought I'd bring it in and dry it off so it don't rust.
That's fine, but why did you bring it into the living room? Besides, how many times have I told you to use the back door?
As many as you want, because I'm not counting.
Swear one day you'll be the devil. Go to the kitchen and have this turned into a bath.
I'm not wet. It quit raining.
I know that. To dry the axe.
All right.
That door. That man had a brain. He'd be dangerous.
I heard that. Oh, Munchies, want a cookie?
No thanks.
So, have you and Miss Van Zandt finished the new will yet?
Yeah, it's all ready except for Mrs. Stockwood's signature. I see it. Now my wouldn't when we have to hate it.
I would hate you. I think the same twist about us in your shoes.
I'm sure you would want it. But, have you talked to Minerva lately?
Oh yeah, that got me thinking. I think you thought this plan through, but I think you're forgetting something.
What?
Well, like we need a dad too. Someone to mold her and shape her into the perfect replica of great Aunt Simone.
You think so, Jordan?
I know so.
Take your pretty hands off me! And you know what? You know what? They're getting the cookie hands all over my breast. And you know what, Jordan? By the way, forget it. If I decide that little Simone needs a father when she's born, I'll pick a suitable husband. But you know what? He's not going to be a dirty swine like you.
I can kill you, quick!
I wouldn't try that, Jordan. Not detective in the house.
You missed one there.
Where?
Beside your left kneecap. Left kneecap.
Got it. They roll just everywhere.
Round objects tend to do that, man.
There's Withers.
Miss Starkweather, what are you doing with Lord Bensoners?
Just picking up my spilled pills. Please watch where you put your feet, my dear. Both of them.
I assume Miss Starkweather required an injection. Is there a problem?
Oh, nothing I can't handle. She's just having trouble breathing, so I just took her from her bed and sat her back up in her chair. She could breathe better in upright position. Then I gave her an injection of steroids to open up her bronchial passages.
Where would Aunt Simone be without you?
Dead. Your aunt's heart was beating long ago, if I wasn't here.
Speaking of which, what's the word you want to ask, Miss Withers?
What's that?
The digitalis.
Oh, yes. I was wondering if you happen to have any manufactured samples of digitalis you don't need. I have a heart condition. I'd like to keep a supply handy.
I can see why you would. Yours tend to run out, don't they? I'm sorry, Miss Starkweather, but your aunt's required every pill she's got to keep her going.
Oh, mine would be better together with all mine. Can you help us, my dear?
I suppose.
Is this a private game or can anybody play?
Mr. Davis, we're just picking up my spilled pills.
Is that it? I thought you all were playing a tiny little marble tournament. I'll pass.
Here. I really should be returning to my duties.
Here, I'll
Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
You'll excuse me?
Miss Withers, how's the boss?
Bossy. She sent me for a fresh pitcher of drinking water. If I'm not back in a minute, she'll start ringing her bell. See what I mean? 1 second, Miss Starkweather.
I gather she rings people on.
Incessantly. When she stops ringing, I'll know she's kicked the bucket. You'll excuse me?
Spoken like a true member of the medical profession. What's with the regiment, nurse? Got a mechanical problem I can give you a hand with?
Thank you, sir, but no, it will happen. I too shall excuse myself.
Well,
You're kind of late, Mrs. Starkweather.
I couldn't sleep. What about you?
Oh, I'm a real nice one. How? Besides, I was hoping young Miss Simone might show up by now. I haven't met her yet.
Simone, she's a sweet girl. I do hope she's all right. I mean, the storm and all.
She could have pulled off the rope to let it pass. It's starting to thaw over again. You could be in for another deluge.
I certainly hope not. Well, I believe I'll go lie down now.
Good night again, Mrs. Starkweather.
Good night.
I'm coming, Miss Starkweather. Oh, you're still here.
Yep, just keep an eye out, please.
Well, you'll excuse me, my patient.
You're up too, Mr. Davis?
Yeah, so is the rest of this household. Seems to be busier at Starkweather Mansion at midnight than it is down the interstate at rush hour.
I know what you mean. I've been hearing footsteps go past my bedroom door all evening. I'm not surprised, though. We should have guessed that Miss Starkweather's announcement would give her heirs a sleepless night, too.
Between you and me, Miss Van Zandt, this phony business, how do you feel about it?
I'm a lawyer, Mr. Davis. I'm paid to think, not feel. Can Mrs. Starkweather be cloned? There's no denying the technology exists. Should she be cloned? Let's just say I wouldn't be the first to challenge me to let her live under Lois Van Zandt.
Me too, I'm a simple guy. I've got enough to deal with one like that.
Yeah. The new will is finished. Miss Starkweather can sign it in the morning.
The old girl's still awake. Saw that nurse in here a minute ago getting water for her.
In that case, there's no reason she can't sign it now.
Agreed. Everyone in this house is as tense as a bunch of block-tailed castles with little rocking chairs.
I'll go up to my room and get the will. Why don't you let Mrs. Starkweather know? What in the world?
Circuit breaker must have tripped.
But the storm passed hours ago.
I know. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Hold it down, let me check the body.
Oh, what a deep frog sort of rose. Is that one? I think that's one.
I'm not sure.
Well, what else could it be?
I'm the detective, I'll handle it. What can you tell us, Miss Withers?
After I brought Miss Starkweather a pitcher of water and made sure she was breathing all right, I went to my room and lied down. I noticed that the lights went off. Miss Starkweather started ringing her bell. I tried to light my candle, and someone must have struck me from behind. I must have blacked out. When I came to, the lights were on, and...
Yeah, we can take it from
You
there.
seem to be in charge, Mr. Davis. What do we do now?
We keep trying to phone till daybreak. If they're not up by then, someone will drive into town. The report there's been a murder at Starkweather Mansion.
Murder?
Maybe she did it herself. Or maybe not.
Oh, young Samo, there's a problem.
We're going to take a 5 to 7 minute intermission as you get some water and stuff. So do what you need to do. Paula, listen here. Sorry, Paula. Callista Menzel is playing Paula tonight, and I did not put her name. Her character is there, but her name is not on there. So I will create new programs for you guys to have for those. So sorry, Callista, I didn't mean to do that. I just want to let you guys know. So just about 5 to 7 minutes, and then we'll get back for Act 2.
grandmother, please.
And she was murdered?
There's no doubt about that. You saw the body.
Poor grandmother, if I'd only gotten here sooner.
How do you know you didn't get here sooner?
What?
You could have showed up hours ago. Parked your car on site, looked into the house and killed the lights. Moments before you killed Simone Starkweather.
That is absolutely ridiculous. Why would I kill her?
I'd say a third of a $50 million fortune is a pretty good reason to knock somebody off. If Mrs. Starkweather had signed a new will,
But
then
I didn't know about the new will. I only learned about it right now when you were all talking about it. And this crazy scheme of cloning.
it would have been easy enough to hide outside the French doors and eavesdrop on the conversation.
And why would I hide? I was expecting you.
Tell me again.
All right. I had to creep at a snail's pace along a country road from town. Rain was lashing all across the windshield. It was so hard I couldn't see anything. The wind was snapping branches and flinging them into the side of the car. It was like I was driving through a hurricane. When I got to the wooden bridge that goes across the creek, I had to get out. I couldn't get across. I remembered once when I was a kid, there was a tree that had fallen across the river. I went there and crossed it. Apparently, I got here just after grandmother was murdered.
That's a good story, but it's not the first.
It's the truth. I swear it.
Maybe, but I'm still not crossing you off my suspect list.
And just who else do you have on that suspect list, Mr. Davis?
Everyone here except for Miss Van Zandt and Miss Collins. They had a heck of a lot to gain if your grandmother had lived for only a few more minutes. As it turns out, they're left out in the cold.
And that's only me. Lois here has her little toilet thing. But I am now among the unemployed.
I'm sure once this thing is settled, we can arrange for you to be given a generous severance.
Check it out, your boy's gonna be like, mother and I will pass.
So will I. Nothing personal, of course.
Well, what do we do now, Mr. Davis?
We sit tight till daybreak. Then you'll show me to that log and we'll drive them to town. I'll report what I know to the police and we'll tell them that the bridge is out. The cops will probably arrive by helicopter. Once a homicide detective is assigned to the case, I'm out here.
But you're a detective too, and you were right here when everything happened. You have a better chance of solving it than anybody.
I'm sorry, now that Mrs. Starkweather's dead, I'm off the payroll.
I will hire you to stay. I won't have the money until my inheritance is settled if you'll stick around that long.
You're on, Dick. I figured you'd get to the dough. Incidentally, that offer dropped you to the bottom of my respect list. Well, might as well start earning my salary.
How can we help, Mr. Davis?
Well, I want to question everyone as to their whereabouts when Mrs. Starkweather is murdered.
Establish their alibi.
Yeah. Also, I want to figure out if anyone noticed anything out of the ordinary that may have happened in the last couple hours.
You know, some clues?
You got it. Motives, alibis, and clues. The motives in this case are obvious. The other elements aren't yet, but I hope they will be by the time we're finished.
That sounds like a good plan to me. Who do you want to start with?
How about you, Miss Polly? Would you like to go first?
Well, my name is Miss Thompson, but I'm tired, but if you would like, sure.
You don't have to call. None of us have to.
What do you mean, dear?
Mr. Davis isn't a real police officer. We don't have to tell him the time of day.
You're right, Jordan, but why would you want to refuse to cooperate unless you have something to hide?
Now listen here, Simone. Don't start accusing me of killing great Aunt Simone unless you can prove it.
Simone has a point, Jordan. Do you want to tell the police that everyone here cooperated except you?
Oh, fine. I'll answer your dumb question. But first, I'm going to take my mother upstairs. We haven't noticed she's up in here and needs to rest.
Why, thank you, son. I'm no spring chicken anymore, but I'm no Miss Priscilla either.
Don't get too excited. Do you need your dick to tell us?
No, dear, I'm fine. But if I did, I could probably find a pillar too, Christian. I had a little accident with my beloved earlier.
Come on. If you need us, you'll call for us.
I assume you'll want to question everyone in private. You can wait with me in my room if you like, Kathy. I want to read over the old will again, since it will remain the official one.
Sure, Lois. I'd like to say, if I might, I would like to hear everybody's account since I wasn't here before. I want to know what happened in Starkweather Mansion.
You're the boss now, Miss Thompson, if we go somewhere more private. Now, I'm particularly interested in what happened between the time Mrs. Starkweather announced her new will and the time of her death.
How long was that, Paula?
Several hours. Paul, Miss Thompson?
Well, I was very disappointed by Great Aunt Simone's announcement. As you may well imagine, I mean, I could totally understand why you would want to clone Channing Tatum. I mean, like, but Great Aunt Simone? I'm sorry to be Simone Sugar, I was not a nice person. Anyways, I went down to the kitchen earlier to get something for a little errand, and I was outside the kitchen, and I saw Minerva and that cute little maid Nancy talking about something. I can't believe that Miss Starkweather just pulled that will on us. And not... Have you heard a word I said, girl? Did you leave your mind in the other room?
What? I'm sorry, Minerva. I'm so confused.
About what? Has that been this Camp Jordan and bothering you?
Jordan? I mean, Mr. Starkweather? What makes you think that?
Well, when I walked in on two of you in the living room, you were standing mildly close to each other, like real lovey-dovey like. What was he saying to you?
I think he wanted me to
To do something you didn't want to do?
yes, but it's not your thinking.
I'll bet he better stay away from you. That boy tried it and kind of downside.
You never know. He's not interested in you like that. I heard him talking to his calls.
Ha! I get the picture. You lost your million. How interested in you, didn't he? He's falling the money right to that Collins girl, isn't he?
He proposed to her. She turned him down and later laughed about it to her friend who's fan his aunt.
Good for her. Serves him right, lady bum.
Don't call him that.
You're hung up on him, aren't you? Don't be a fool, Nancy. Jordan will use you and toss you aside like he's done a dozen of girls I know of.
Maybe he's going to settle down. If Mrs. Starkweather hadn't changed her will, Jordan would be free to
Free to do what?
nothing. If we're finished, try then to go to my room.
Go on. Nancy,
Yes, ma'am.
lock your door.
So, tell me, Mrs. Trent, did you possibly see or hear anything out of the usual tonight before Mrs. Starkweather's birth?
Suspicious? I suppose you call turning a gun around the house suspicious, even though Mrs. Starkweather wasn't shot to death.
Well, who has a gun?
Besides me,
Paula Thompson, that's who, claimed she was a regular Annie Oakley and mentioned how easy it would be for somebody to come through those French doors and kill Mrs. Starkweather.
did she now?
Ask for yourself.
Anything else?
I did happen to overhear a rather odd conversation between Rufus and Miss Starkweather. I have gone upstairs to distribute candles to everyone in case of a power outage, which turned out very useful, as you know. I was about to turn the corridor onto the west wing when I saw Miss Starkweather at the far end of the stairs. Dear.
Miss Starkweather.
Rufus! You scared me out of your throat.
That's okay, ma'am. All right, you do walk one sideways.
I certainly hope not.
Are those red mints? Because I can still taste what Minerva served us for dinner.
These went over because you mustn't take any of these. If you ate these pills, they could kill you.
In that case, I'll pass. You better be careful not to leave them around. Somebody could eat a bunch of those by mistake and fall over dead.
That's entirely possible.
And what would you put on their death certificate? Cause of death, bad breath?
This isn't a laughing matter, Rufus. I'll be careful with these pills, you see. I need these pills. I need every last one of them.
Rufus had an axe?
Yes, Miss Simone, I had to instruct them to chop some firewood.
I'm surprised you trust an axe.
Personally, I would trust them, but I'm simply relying on Miss Starkweather's instructions.
Was there anything else of interest you happened to notice?
Just one, sir. Earlier tonight, I was coming down from the kitchen when I saw Master Jordan at the door to Miss Starkweather's room. The hall. His behavior seemed somewhat fruitful. I got the impression that he was going to enter when the door opened and Miss Witherspoon. It appears that our unexpected appearance startled Master Jordan.
Well, what do you want?
Oh, I was going to check on the great Aunt Simone.
No need, that's what I'm here to do.
So, how is she?
Still breathing, if that's what you're wondering about.
How long do you think she has?
Let's just say she needn't
your determination? Long enough to sign that new will. That is what you want to know, isn't it?
You misjudged me.
Give it a rest, Jordan. You like to see your jaws set before daybreak, just like nearly everyone else in this house.
Including you. $1 million of fortune. A lot of people would know that much money.
If that's a hint, forget it. I'd be a prime suspect if Miss Starkweather's death appeared to be anything but by natural causes.
Suspecting and proving are two different things.
I'm gonna forget you said that. Good night, Jordan. It's true. Vernon Starkweather didn't think that I was in a position to end his great aunt Simone's life. I assume Bessemer also took his our views,
He did, but you could have changed your mind.
and then killed her with a blood pressure cuff? Hardly what we call by natural causes.
I agree. The manner by which she was murdered makes no sense at all to whoever did it.
It's as if the killer was flaunting his deeds in our face.
Why would they do that?
That's a good question. Miss Withers, if you had to suspect who the murderer was, who do you think it would be?
Off the record, that Thompson girl. Her great needs. It's too goody-goody for my taste. Oh, those Southern girls can pour on the charm when they want to. But Scarlett O'Hara was pretty ruthless when you get down to it.
We've been told that she has a gun.
See what I mean? I dare say she and Gordon both were desperate to get their hands on the Starkweather's billions. I overheard them talking earlier this evening. It was shortly after Miss Van Zant's announcement about the new will. They didn't notice me in the corridor.
Well, what are we gonna do?
Do what can we do? It's out of our hands.
Oh, stop being such a wimp, Jordan. That money rightfully belongs to us, and we both know it.
I know. Maybe if we got Great Aunt Simone declared insane.
Oh, well, I've already thought of that, but it wouldn't work. I mean, if cloning was such a bizarre thing, maybe we could, but it isn't. It's been done. We would lose the case.
And we'd probably spend the penance we are going to inherit on the lawyers.
Yeah, exactly. Like that Miss Van Zandt. She,
What is it? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, if you can't beat them, you gotta join them.
What?
Oh, fend for yourself, Cousin Jordan. I've got someone to talk to.
You can't beat us. Join us. Where would Cassie be?
It's true, Jordan did suggest we get married, but it wasn't what you call a romance. No, it was not business proposition.
You were going to have access to billions. What did Jordan have to offer you?
Himself, I think. In my opinion, that fortune hunter wouldn't be worth two cents.
Then you did turn him down.
Jordan is attractive in a really warming way, if you like someone that's disgusting. But anyway, I'm a woman who would not be married to a fool. Believe me, Mike, I'm no fool.
I knew that from the time we started with
You were smart enough to volunteer to carry grandmother's clothes.
Look, Simone, once in this Starkweather made up her mind to tell herself nothing that anyone is going to say will convince her otherwise. And so, if she would want to try to sort of get with us somewhere else, why not me?
I mean, I guess I understand. I just think the whole thing is crazy. That's a lot nicer than all the other rayos.
For example,
Paula, for one, let me tell you about Paula. She had not given up hope of getting her hands on Mrs. Starkweather's money, that's for sure.
how do you know?
Well, I didn't know it was real the first when Paula knocked on the door. She asked to see Lois. Privately suspicious, right? So Lois went with us, and she didn't look more complete. So, I'm offering help. Let's her able to get the solution.
We're very busy, Miss Thompson.
Preparing a new will?
Yes.
Miss Van Zandt, between you and me, are you sure that this whole cloning business is legal?
The process will be performed in Belgium, as we told you. Our laws don't apply there.
Oh, well, what about ethics? I mean, haven't lawyers been disbarred before for behavior that is unethical, if not illegal?
What's your point?
Put me in on your deal. I don't care what you put me as. I can be a nanny or whatever. I don't care what you name the position, but if you do refuse, I will be forced to report you to the Bar Association. That's what you call it, right?
It is. Let me give you a little free legal advice, Miss Thompson. In the first place, if you make any accusations against me before the cloning procedure has been successfully completed, I'll sue you for the
If I remember correctly, when Kathy Poland saw Mrs. Starkweather's body on screen, you ran into the front door. What had you been doing outside, Miss?
Was I outside? Yeah, I guess I was. I remember now. I had borrowed the TV from the guest room, because the one in mine...
We heard Rufus, we heard White.
You did? No sure counts fast around here.
Yes, all the actors were turning green.
Sure was. It looked like the Martians had landed or something. Anyways, when I hooked up the new set, the picture didn't come in too good. Everybody was like a woolly, fuzzy worm. I don't know. I went outside to try string antenna. On the roof. It wouldn't do much good in the basement. So, yeah. I was about to get the tall ladder out of the storage when I heard someone scream bloody murder. Even if it wasn't bloody.
Did you see or hear anything outside?
Yeah, that's a yes. I saw an owl and heard a bunch of bullfrogs.
I meant humans.
Oh, I saw Mr. Jordan on the patio when I was covered. Don't know what he was doing out there.
Earlier tonight, Miss, did you hear anyone talk about the new book?
Who didn't? Minerva and old Bensonhurst didn't talk about much else. They were going on about it in the kitchen before Miss Starkweather croaked.
Well, what were they saying?
That it ain't fair. That's what. That they worked hard for Miss Starkweather all these years. And should have got their millions. Me, I didn't care too much. I figured $50,000 would buy me a new TV with a big screen. And I guess now, I could even get me two.
Bensonhurst and Minerva.
Oh yeah. The more Minerva thought about it, the madder she got. And that woman's got a temper. She was about to ready to storm into Miss Starkweather's room and give her a piece of her mind.
You mustn't go there, Minerva.
And who's going to stop me?
I shall if necessary.
You and his army.
Look, I fully agree with you that you're wrong, but confrontation is not the answer.
Then what is?
Have patience. Miss Starkweather has decided to do William. Perhaps you'll change your mind by morning.
We should look for so long.
No, Minerva, she should live so long.
So, what were you doing outside about the time of the murder, Mr. Starkweather?
Just getting a breath of fresh air. Anything wrong with that?
Not if you remained outside.
What do you mean?
When I made a cursory examination of the crime scene, I noticed that Miss Withers had left the window of Mrs. Starkweather's roommate for conditions, so there's some of that fresh air.
Are you
Anyone could have slipped inside and...
Are you giving me Billy Ray Dance alone?
Calm down, Mr. Starkweather. I'm not accusing anybody. Yet.
And besides, from what we've heard, Cousin Jordan, it seems that you're just trying to con people into doing your dirty work.
Yeah? And who told you that?
I'll ask a question if you don't mind. I repeat, what were you doing outside?
If you must know, Kathy and I had a disagreement. I went outside to cool off. Or have you already heard about that part?
I question, you answer. Remember? I'll ask you this. If you didn't kill Mrs. Starkweather, who do you think did?
Look, I'm not saying she did. But have you talked to the little lady yet, Nancy?
Why her, Cousin Jordan?
I flirt with the girls a lot, but I did nothing to lead her on. I know she was upset about losing her millions, and then even more upset that I'd lose my billion. And I took a stroll around the house and saw her talking to Miss Withers.
Can I get something for you, Withers? I just need that fresh pitcher of drinking water filled by Miss Starkweather's bedside. I got it. That poor girl. When she had the attack in the living room and lost her breath, I realized before whenever you said the slightest shock proved to be fatal.
Exactly.
The slightest shock. Her bell? I must go. Yes, we wouldn't let anything bad happen to her, would we? I was very shocked when your grandmother included me in her will. I didn't even think that she noticed.
Then you must have received two surprises. You hear you can carry $1 million, and then to immediately discover that you take it away.
3 surprises, actually. Now you're wealthy again.
Simone, I was so happy when your grandma left me even $50,000. With that, I can go to college and get an education like you.
Now you can do anything. What do you want to do, Nancy?
I don't know. I
Who
You're
told
very fond of him, aren't you?
Who told you that? Cousin Jordan himself. He said you'd even kill for him. He what? I'm sorry to hurt you, Nancy, but it just shows what kind of person Jordan is. He's only out for himself, and he'll do anything to anyone who gets in his way.
I guess I knew that. Jordan tried to warn me. I heard her propose to Mrs. Collins. She turned him down and later laughed about it to her friend Miss Van. You think Jordan is cold-hearted, but Mrs. Collins is just as bad as she is.
Can you believe it? Those slow cases. They might work on some innocent young thing like that, me. But his playboy days, he learned quickly that Kathy Collins is not a pushover.
I wish I'd been there to see it. It's time Jordan met his match. I could tell Nancy about some of those maids who worked here before her. His playboy days will be over soon enough, though. Well, up until now, Mrs. Starkweather has given Jordan, as well as Fiona, Paula, and young Simone, a generous allowance. Once she passes on, the $50,000 request will be the last they get of the Starkweather fortune. They'll have to learn what it's like to work for a living.
Oh my God. You know, Simone's almost at school, so she'll do fine. But the others, they'll go for their money and no size. And what kind of girl can they get? I mean, can you imagine Paula with the desk at a travel agency?
Or Jordan driving cars off the lot for the customers.
What will be? Oh my God. No, can I get you anything, Cousin Fiona? A glass of water?
No, dear, it's fine. Well, it's Mr. Davis. I want you to know that my Jordan couldn't have done a fearless. Then to Aunt Simone, he was with me and I was always.
You know that could be true, Mrs. Starkweather. Jordan told us himself that he was outside, and I saw you in here earlier with Ben's person in the urn, Miss Withers.
That's fine. Maybe it's last night or something.
Maybe it was.
Now I know I just never believed in such things on British Road. It's too easy to get confused.
Concentrate on tonight, Mrs. Starkweather. Do you recall seeing anything unusual?
Unusual. Well, I saw Aunt Simone's body, that horrible thing around that her neck. I called that unusual.
My case before that, Cousin Fiona. Hey,
Poor thing. I don't know if this is the sort of thing that you mean, but
Yes.
it was right after we were told about the new one, and we had all gone upstairs. I was going past the secretary's door, and I heard the house very, very loud. They were speaking quite loudly, so I couldn't help but hear.
Right. What are you doing in my room?
I was checking all of the guest bedrooms to make sure there are extra blankets and each. I suppose they're very pleased with you, Mrs. Collins.
And why do you say that?
It all worked out just as you planned.
I don't know what you mean.
I think you do. I understand now why you brought all those magazines from town and left them lying around when Mrs. Starkweather would see them. You've done it for months.
What magazine?
Don't play dumb, Miss Collins. Those news magazines and scientific journals, they all had one thing in common, articles about cloning. I didn't realize until tonight about what you were planning to do, but now it's obvious. You planted that idea in Mrs. Starkweather's head to clone herself.
So where's the janitor? There's no laws against cloning, are there? There's no rules against reading magazines.
I'm sure your lawyer friend would say no, since you're in this together. That doesn't mean it's right. What I think you're planning to do is hideous.
Well, to be perfectly frank, Miss Friends, I think it'll be a lesson to me. Now, get out!
Starting to give orders already, are you? Out! But remember one thing, young women. You're not the queen bee yet, and you won't be, until Mrs. Starkweather's name is on that dotted line, assuming that ever happens. Kathy told me about Miss Trent's accusations, that she engineered the cloning business, possibly with my help. Apparently, Miss Starkweather reported the conversation accurately, which is something of a surprise.
Is it true? Did you and Kathy give grandmother those magazines and the idea?
Kathy, I don't really think that's relevant to the case at hand, Simone. Even if we did, we weren't breaking any laws. Don't you agree, Mr. Davis?
No laws I can think of.
Then should we focus on the law that was broken? I'm referring to murder, of course.
You're right as usual, Miss Van Zandt. volunteer any information that may help us?
I'll tell you this. Earlier this evening, I was going to the kitchen to ask Minerva for a pot of coffee. It was apparent that Kathy and I were going to be working late, and I felt that Kathy might help us stay awake. Minerva wasn't there, but Rufus was. I heard him tell Timothy on his grandmother. The conversation was very peculiar.
Rufus, what are you doing with that axe?
I brought it in from the wood pile to dry it off. And I even sharpened it too. Do you want to see?
Goodness, no, put it away.
Maybe I better, before anyone gets hurt. Or even kills them.
That's a horrible thought.
Hate it though. I get those sometimes. Do you? I see you still got your poison pills.
Digitalis isn't a poison, it's a stimulant. You just have to figure out how to study.
Well, you had a lot more in the bottle when I saw you upstairs. I hope you haven't gone and overdosed. I think I can figure out the mouth-to-mouth stuff.
If you bring those lips any closer, I will smash that axe and chop them right off.
I'm just trying to help this Starkweather.
Well, don't. There's some things for slim down. I assure you, however, I had a little accident with the photo earlier and you couldn't find them all.
Well, I hope Minerva don't find them. She fixes Miss Starkweather's meals, and she's mighty mad at him right now.
What are you suggesting?
Oh, nothing. Was there something you did in the kitchen?
I came to see if Minerva had any leftover hors d'oeuvres.
I can look.
Never mind. I seem to lost my appetite. Miss Starkweather's meals? What do you want to know about them?
Who else did she dine with? Did she eat the same food as everyone else?
Miss Starkweather was on a very restricted diet, low salt, low fat, so I had to prepare her meals separately. What do you want to know about the food? Is there something wrong?
You're a great cook, Minerva. That lady Larry served tonight was delicious.
Yes, well, I'm not going to let her first way. So what's the problem?
Forget it. Tell me what I need to know. Changing the subject. Do you remember what happened in the kitchen when the lights went out before I left?
Blackout. I'm not too sure. Let me think. I was in the pantry taking supplies for breakfast, and the lights went out. And it took me a few moments to get the candle that was kept maybe out of my pocket and light it.
Nancy, is anyone there?
I'm here, and I'm gone.
I was in my room and everything went dark. What happened?
Bensonhurst forgot to pay the light bill.
Keep that up, and they'll forget to pay your wage.
What in blazes is going on?
The storm knocked out the electricity. My candles did come in handy, you see.
Yeah, remind me to give you a bonus car later. Bensonhurst, can't you get the electricity back on?
That's what I need to find out. And first,
The circuit breaker is right over there.
I hope they hurry. I don't like the dark.
Was that quick enough for you? I'll go back to my chore.
What did that idiot come inside for? He tracked water all over my clean floor.
Why Mrs. Starkweather doesn't fire him, I'll never know.
Any luck?
yeah, I was there all right. Wish we had more though. The will gets probated and the killer gets his or her inheritance. They can get away. Even by a new identity, easily enough for $1 million. Horrible.
I was hoping we'd get more by questioning all the suspects.
Me too. They're so busy trying to blame each other, they didn't reveal much about themselves. Sometimes the slightest. Simone? Move your foot. Think it's. Yes.
What is it?
It's so insignificant at the time, I barely happened to notice it. Simone, I know who killed your grandmother.
Who?
Not right now. Tell everyone to gather with me.
Yes, sir. We never could be here to be like hot coffee. Never mind. Go get everyone and bring them down here quickly, please. Yes, ma'am.
I don't think the police chief will mind if you stay up back to gather evidence. I don't think he'll mind at all. Come in, everyone. Come in. Settle down, please. Settle down. Okay, a little more lively, but.
Okay, well, if no one else is going to ask, I will. Why did you call us here this time?
It is very late, isn't it? I'm sure you're all very tired. I know I am. But I felt you would rest easier knowing who murders Simone Starkweather.
found out who killed Great Aunt Simone?
I believe I have, which I will show you in the next few minutes.
I'm amazed, Mike. How did you figure it out?
Well, first, I have to solve the answer to the question that I've been pondering this whole time. Instead of focusing on who did it, I kept asking myself, why did they do it that way? Once the answer to that came to me, it all became much clearer.
Mind if I ask what that is?
You see, when it would have been so easy to make it seem that Mrs. Starkweather had died of natural causes, something that Jordan had said to Miss Withers before. For example, Mrs. Starkweather or her son could have given Mrs. Starkweather some of her digitalis, triggering a heart attack. So could have several others among you who was aware she had digitalis, and there left several spills on the floor of this room. Mrs. Withers also could use some hypodermic needle to put an air bubble into Mrs. Starkweather's bloodstream. Again, so could others among you who was aware she had a hypodermic needle. Now, it was entirely possible that someone you considered frightening her death. Miss Thompson with her gun, Mr. Redsenhurst with his wrench, Miss Withers with her, sorry, Minerva, you with your knife, and Rufus with his axe. Possibilities are endless. Why then did the killer put a blood pressure cuff around Mrs. Starkweather's neck and strangle her to death? The answer is so simple, I felt foolish about realizing it earlier.
What is that?
Obviously, when the blood pressure cuff was put around her neck, Mrs. Starkweather was already dead.
What?
Isn't that right, Miss Van Zandt?
You really are very clever, Mr. Davis.
It had to have been you. You were here together when the lights went out, and you went to check on Mrs. Starkweather.
But why would you put the cover on his neck?
As our able detective here surmised, the murderer made it appear that Mrs. Starkweather had had a heart attack. Death seemed to have indeed been due to natural causes. There was no doubt in my mind, however, that someone in this house had killed her. I knew that under the circumstances, the coroner would have had no reason to perform an autopsy on the body, nor would the police conduct an investigation. I wasn't about to let my employer's murder get away scot-free. I noticed the blood pressure cuff on the bed, so I put it around her neck and inflated it before wheeling her into this room.
And your plan worked? No one could question the fact that she had been murdered?
So then, Miss Simone could hire Mr. Davis to try and kill her.
Which I have. Very sneaky, Miss Van Zandt. It almost distracted me from the real problem. Instead of focusing on the murder, I tried to focus on why they did that.
Sorry, Mr. Davis, but if you've discovered the identity of the murderer, then the end seemed to have justified the means.
I imagine that the police will agree. You might even overlook the fact that you're guilty of tampering with evidence at the crime scene.
If not, I'm on very good terms with the local judges.
Wait, how do you know Miss Van Zandt didn't kill her herself?
No motive.
Oh, yeah.
Don't keep us in suspense, Mike. Tell us who killed Miss Starkweather.
I'll be better than that. I'll show you. Bear with me, everyone.
What?
I imagine you also have your candles that Mrs. Trent distributed earlier tonight. Please take them out and light them.
Oh, isn't this nice? Very Christmassy.
Upon inspecting Mrs. Starkweather's body, I noticed several very small red drops on her robe. At first I thought it was blood, but on closer inspection it turned out to be another substance entirely. I forgot about it for the moment. Now, I noticed that when I was interrogating one of you, you were rubbing one thumbnail against the other. At the time I took it to be a nervous gesture. Nerves triggered by guilt, as it turns out. Then, I forgot about it until I recalled Minerva's testimony about those of you who gathered in the kitchen with candles. That was the piece I needed. I found these on the floor by the investigation, where I was interrogated. Small drops of red tallow. Tallow from the killer's thumbnail. Tallow from the one red candle among you, which you are holding, Nancy Pollard.
There might have been other rectangles.
There are. I remember when we took them down after Christmas that we have to buy some more red ones for next year.
Is this the only evidence you have against me? This candle?
No, Nancy. As I was walking out of the room a minute ago, I glanced at everyone's wrists. Your wrists have very thin scratches on them, made by Mrs. Starkweather, no doubt, as she struggled for her life. I was able to take skin samples from underneath her fingernails. assuming that they will belong to you. I should know. I met quite a few experts in DNA in the past few months.
I don't suppose you consider pulling those great things and saying you knew me until, would you? I didn't think so. I guess my biggest mistake was trying to cross a lawyer. I may have cost you access to lose your millions, but you definitely got your revenge.
Why didn't you tell us what happened, Nancy?
Might as well, you figured out the other main details. I was curious with Mrs. Starkweather for building up her hopes. Especially George's. And then dashing into the ground. I went to her room, listened at her door, and when I was sure she was alone, I slipped inside of her room. I went over to Mrs. wheelchair, leaned down in her face, and I told her what I thought she was saying was monstrous. I told her that she was cruel. I told her she didn't deserve to live. I told her I was going to kill her. She was terrified. She wheeled back into her wheelchair, hitting the reading table, sitting the reading lamp with a pitcher of water on top of it, causing a blackout.
So you did trip the circuit breaker deliberately.
No, it nearly ruined everything. But, lucky for me, I had a candle and matches in my pocket. I was able to hold an oxygen mask on her nose with one hand and light the candle with the other. I don't know if she died from suffocation or a heart attack, but it was all over in seconds. And all she was able to do was make a few insignificant scratches on my wrist with blood.
You must have been surprised as everyone else when this man sample brought into the room that blood pressure cuff around the neck.
I mean, I was, but what could I do? It was easy to guess that she was cold, and I would have loved to kill you two for ruining everything. But I never dared try until now, of course. I don't have anything to lose, no, nobody moves!
Hold it. You don't want to do anything you might regret.
It's too late for that advice, Mr. Davis. Come here, you're coming with me. Where did we go? The bridge is washed out. I know where the fallen tree is, Simon mentioned. Simon, put your apartment on the table.
You'll never get away.
I think I might. The phone lines are still down. It would take you hours to walk to town outside the police. I'll be long gone by then. What about me? I would have committed the perfect murder if it hadn't been for you. What do you think I'm going to do to you?
Nothing if I can help it.
Ah! Slow it! You burned me!
Consider it a preview of the afterlife.
Always be prepared on me just in case. Let's have one.
Mike, remind me to pay you well.
I'll remember that. Well, you're going away for a long time, Miss Pollard. Do you have anything to say for yourself?
See you this Tuesday, Jordan.
down, we'll get a cast photo, and then we'll let you be on your way. So thank you again very much.